Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Mage Hammer's Game Table, where tonight I'm concluding my second series, featuring my own Daring and Danger's Rules Light Pulp Adventure role-playing game. And this is the adventure of the Lost Island. In the last two episodes, the members of the Intrepid Society were asked to rescue a former colleague of Dr. Wickham from the clutches of the Nazis, who have taken him to a place called the Lost Island of Dreams, where they hope to be able to use its powers for their own machinations. And this is Dr. Wickham of the Intrepid Society, founder. This is his first recruit and his resident explorer and muscle, Xander Chance. Then his protege, Dr. Tessa Stewart, and another member of the Intrepid Society, Harry Green, former soldier in her royal army from England. Anyway, so last episode, they were attacked by pirates on their way to the Lost Island of Dreams, and they made landfall after going through a very mysterious mist. And they come upon this island, and they made their way through the island thanks to Xander Chance's explorer skills and the map that they had acquired. That was a copy of the map that Dr. Colombo, Dr. Wickham's former colleague, had made in case of such, in case the original had been destroyed. They used the Nazis used the original to get Dr. Colombo here so that they could force him to do what they want. And so this episode opens. The Intrepid Society has made their way through the forest of the Lost Island of Dreams towards where the location of the, I guess Dr. Colombo calls it a ritual area, where he believes that that's where you can summon the creatures from the dreamscape into our reality. And they've made their way there with Xander's skills, and they're approaching it very carefully. As they approach, they start to hear chanting, and they realize that there is a ceremony underway as they approach. And that's where we pick up our action. So I'm going to have them make stealth rolls. I'm going to have Xander make a stealth roll to get closer so he can kind of check out the area. I'll be right back. Stay here, everyone. So I'm going to give him his 5 dice for survival. This includes his proficiency die. As an explorer, he gets to reroll 1 failed die. He gets an exploding die. No failures yet. Yeah, so that was 2, 4, 6 successes. It was a DL 3 because though these soldiers are a bit vigilant, they're also kind of half paying attention to what's going on here in the clearing. So Xander sneaks up. He realizes that there is a guard here, a sentry there, and also he sees a way through. And he goes back and reports that somebody's doing some kind of ritual, and there's soldiers all around the perimeter of the area, and whoever's the guy doing the ritual has an officer next to him. That's really it. Well, any sign of Dr. Colombo? Well, what's he look like? Oh, that's right. You don't know what he looks like. I apologize, my good man. All right, well, what's the best way forward? Harry's like, well, I say we go in, guns blazing, and stop this madness in its tracks. And Xander's like, I'm going to have to say I agree with Harry. We can't let this go on. I mean, how much longer do we have to wait? Oh, I wish violence could be avoided. I don't know. What should we do? Well, let me go have a look. Are you sure that's a good idea, Doc? Only I know what Dr. Colombo really looks like. I don't think you've ever met him, have you, Tessa? No, I don't believe so. I've maybe seen a picture in a magazine at some point. I'm not sure. All right. I'm going to have to try to sneak up there. I'll be careful, Professor. We'll watch your back. So I'm going to have him do a stealth check, which, he's not known for that. So we'll see. Okay, so he gets one result, and It's not, I'm not sure if it's worth daring dice. So we'll have him get up close and then snap a twig, but he gets close enough to see that the man performing the ritual is actually Dr. Columbo. What? And then he even says, what? And this soldier's like, hey! And in German says, halt! And Dr. Wickham's like, ah! So he runs back to these tree line. I'm going to say there's trees here. And he's like, he starts yelling in German that there's people approaching. And the officer's like, take care of them. So these three soldiers start to move, and we're going to roll initiative. So Doctor was like, as the soldiers are coming, he's like, that was Columbo performing the ritual. They must really have moved him. So Dr. Wickham is still stunned the fact that is his former colleague doing the ritual. So I'm going to set up the initiative. I'm not sure if it's going to be on camera or not. I got a pretty crowded set piece here, so I guess I'll put it over here. Well, that's right in the middle of the action. Oh, well. Put it here and hope for the best. So everybody except Dr. Wickham is going before the soldiers. And the ritual is continuing despite the appearance of the Intrepid Society. So Harry's like, all right, I guess I was built for this. And he goes and he takes a shot at this guy because this guy has a submachine gun. So it's going to be submachine gun on submachine gun. So he fires his Tommy gun off. 2 bursts. Ooh, 2 exploding dice. Another exploding die. And that is 3, 6, 9. Yikes. And that soldier only has a 2 agility resistance. So that Tommy gun just makes mincemeat out of him. So he goes down. And then Dr. Stewart is going to move here and fire off at this soldier heading towards that tree. She takes cover behind these trees and fires at him. That gets a clear shot, so he doesn't get the benefit of cover. So she gets 6 dice with her pistol. And she gets 4 successes, so that's 2 damage on the soldier. But he is still standing. And then Xander will kind of move up to this fallen tree and take a shot at the same target that Tessa just did, focusing their fire. And he gets to reroll 1 failed die. So we're looking at an exploding die. All right, so he gets 4 successes. And that is not quite enough, but he's going to use a daring dice to add to that damage, which is just enough to put that guy down. So he goes down. So we'll just kind of remove them from the field. And now it is their turn. So the soldier's yelling in German to get them. This guy can't really see, so he's going to have to move into a position where he can see. Gets behind this crystal, takes a fire at Xander. I'm going to say there's no cover there. And so he has a rifle, so that's 5 dice. And I'd say he's within enough to reroll 1 failed roll because of his commanding officer. He doesn't get a failed roll. He gets 5 successes. So that is off of, Xander has a agility resistance of 4, so he only takes 1 point of damage. And he's already pretty hardy as it is. So that was that soldier. These soldiers come running over. This guy comes to this area, fires at Xander, but because he has cover, he's going to have armor 3 instead of his agility resistance. There is a exploding die and another exploding die, so he got off a pretty lucky shot. So that is 5 with the cover, takes off 3, so 2 more damage to Xander. Ugh. Gets winged. And then this soldier is moving forward too, and the officer's like, stay out of these. He tells them to not cross the path of those 2 things because there's starting to be an energy forming and crackling between these 2 crystals. And this soldier makes his way over here. He doesn't have a clear shot, and this soldier is also going to make his way around here and comes up to cover as they engage the enemy. So Dr. Wickham is going to start moving his way around here. Hope he's going to move around the edge of the trees trying to get to the ritual site. I'll give him a stealth check, but it's going to be a DL2 because they're so focused on attacking the enemies. And, oh, so he gets 3 successes on that roll. So he is easily able to sneak around to get a little bit better advantage point on the ritual and what's going on. So that brings us to initiative again. Ooh, Xander. Xander's going after. So is Tessa. Wow, look at those. 3 1s and 3 2s. That's crazy. Dr. Wickham, however, goes before, as does Harry Green. So initiatives have been established. And we're going to start with Harry. So Harry is going to move here. Well, no, he's going to move up to this tree, take cover behind that, and fire at this guy there. There's no cover for him. So that's 2 bursts of his Tommy gun. And he gets reroll, or exploding die, so that's 3, 4. So that's 2 damage on that soldier. So we got, let's do the soldiers up here, 6. This guy's at 4 now. Okay. All right, so that was his action. Oh, second burst. I didn't do a second burst, did I? Second burst. Ooh, 2 exploding dice. And another exploding die. So that's 3, 6, 7. Minus 2 is 5. That is enough to take that guy down. So this soldier goes down. Chattering of submachine guns. Dr. Wickham is going to move here, emerge from that tree and say, "Dr. Columbo, what are you doing?" And he continues to chant, and the officer answers for him in English and says, "Do not attempt to interfere any further, Alistair. Dr. Columbo is going to bring us and make our dreams come true." Dr. Wickham's like, "No, no." And he fires off a pistol at Dr. Columbo. "Please forgive me, my friend." And so that's 5 dice for him. Gets a exploding die. Another exploding die. So that's 6 successes. Dr. Columbo is going to take 4 of that damage. And but he pauses in the middle of his intonation and then continues the ritual. This officer moves behind this crystal, not between it, and fires at Dr. Wickham. Gets 2 exploding dice. So that's 4. Dr. Wickham takes 2 damage. Alistair Wickham takes 2 damage. And that is, okay. Excellent. All right. So then this soldier comes around this rock, fires at Harry Green with a clear shot. And he is within range to be able to re-roll a failed die. And he gets an exploding die and another exploding die. So that is 4. Harry takes 1 damage from that attack. They want to try to take out that submachine gun. It's been chopping them apart. All right. And then this soldier moves up to this crystal and fires at Harry. And this time Harry has cover, so it's going to go against this cover of 3. He gets to reroll a failed die, and he has 2 exploding dice now. That one missed, and then this one... Okay, so 3, that's not enough to get past the cover, so the bullets chop into that tree, and the bullet chops into that tree and does not harm Harry. This guy sees Dr. Wickham and turns and fires his rifle at Dr. Wickham. And he only gets 2 successes, but he gets to reroll a failed success because of his presence of his commanding officer. So that's actually three successes, I think. So Dr. Wickham takes yet another damage to stamina. And I think that was all of the enemies. So now we move on to Xander. Xander hops the tree and fires his pistol at this guy, getting close range so that the guy's rifle's not as effective. And he fires off a shot. Woo! Yes, another exploding die. Another exploding die. Another not exploding die. No failed rolls on that. No failed rolls on that at all. So, oh man, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is a critical hit, man. That pistol takes that guy out. Didn't even have to worry about taking out the space advantage of that rifle. Okay, so that was Xander. And now Dr. Stewart. She's going to go to Dr. Wickham's defense. She's going to move through these trees and hop up onto this stone and fire a pistol at that guy. I think that's enough space to do that. Well, you know what? That's a pretty high stone. I'm going to have to make her make a check to get up there. So she has a 3 agility. I'm going to say it's a DL2. And she makes it. Okay, so she jumps up on the stone, but that takes her action. So she's now up on top of the stone, very exposed, but that's the way it's going. So another round of action here. And yeah, okay, so he finishes the incantation, and suddenly a creature appears between the crystals. Amorphous blob of teeth and eyes and horribleness. It's not a dream creature, it's a nightmare creature. And Dr. Columbo's like, yes, yes, it worked. I've brought him into the world. Tremble before us. And this officer is losing his mind. He's like, oh my God, oh, it's true. And he just starts thinking about the powers. Dr. Wickham goes after. Harry's going before, Tessa's going before, and Xander is going before. So this creature has now made its way into our world. And it is go time. So Harry's going to turn and fire a submachine gun at this guy over here, who is kind of reaching for the other submachine gun of the guy that they felled, but he doesn't know if he's going to make it or not. But if he could get that Mauser up. Ooh, Harry. Not great, Harry. So he missed. I guess he could use some daring dice to add to the hits, but I'm not sure. I mean, that would be a huge... He missed. So I'm going to give him a daring die for that massive, colossal miss. And second burst of his submachine gun. We've got 2, that was a 6. So we've got 2 exploding dice. So that was a little better. So 5 there, so that's 3 damage on this guy. And he is going to use a daring die to add to that damage, and he gets 3 more, so that's enough to take this guy down. So that second burst from his Tommy gun managed to take the guy out of action. So that was help, and then he's going to move up to this stone here and start moving his way towards that officer. Dr. Stewart, she's stunned by that creature, and she sees it, and so does Xander, and we'll do that when it comes around. Well, no, on her action, she has to make a mind test, a mind resistance test, or she is going to be shaken. So her mind resistance is 4. And she needs to get 3 successes. So she gets it. So she is not shaken by the otherworldliness of that abomination horror that's appeared in between there. So she's able to fire at this soldier who's moving on Dr. Wickham, which was her original plan anyway. So she fires off 6 dice for a pistol. Woo! Whoa, nice shot. So she gets an oh my gosh, there's another one over there. Wait, that must have been from initiative. All right, so they have an exploding die, and that is an exploding die, and that is not an exploding die. So 3, 6, 7 -2 is 5 damage on this soldier. It's not quite enough to take him out. So she's going to use a daring die to finish him off. So it was enough to take him out, and he drops just as he was heading to fire on Dr. Wickham again. Xander sees the creature. He has to make his test. His mind is resistance is only 2. So he's got 2 successes. He's going to use a daring die. And that's 3 successes. So he is shocked, but he is not shaken. So he is going to fire on the officer. 6 dice. Oh, she jumps down, by the way. She gets out from being so vulnerable to attack. Wow. Okay, so he's got 4 exploding dice. I don't know if that ended up on camera or not, but wow. So wow, 3, 6, 8 -2 is 6. That is not quite enough to take out that officer, so he's going to use a daring die to add to that damage, and it takes him down. The officer is down. So all the soldiers have been defeated. It's just Dr. Columbo and that horrific creature that has been brought from the dreamscape into our reality. And it moves on the closest, which is Dr. Stewart. So it has 4 attacks. Pseudopods fly out, little gnashing teeth, and does not look great. She is terrified by this thing. All right, so the first attack gets him a total of 6 successes. She has a agility resistance of 3, so that's 3 damage. So she takes 3 damage. All right, and is terrified. Dr. Wickham, I don't think he made a check. He has to make a check. His mind resistance is 5 dice, so he gets 3 plus an exploding die. So he gets a successful 4, so he is not shaken by this creature, and he fires his pistol at the abomination that is attacking his protege, and that is 4 with an exploding die. Okay, so 5 total. 5 total successes versus its agility resistance, which is 2, so that thing takes 3 damage. And it is now Dr. Columbo pulls out a pistol from under his robes, and he's ecstatic. He said, but he's like, ah, and he runs behind. He fires at Dr. Wickham and runs behind this crystal. So 5 dice at Dr. Wickham and 4. So Dr. Wickham 4 successes. So Dr. Wickham takes 2 damage. And that is all of the bad guys. So Dr. Wickham fires his pistol at the creature. And he only gets 2 successes, which is not enough to damage it. And he's not going to use a daring die, so he's going to take a daring die because of the failure. All right, initiative. All right, so this creature is trying to consume and destroy Dr. Stewart. So Alistair goes before. Looks like everybody's going before, so I won't track initiative. We'll just have them all act, and then the bad guys will go that way. I'm not taking up that much space. All right, so let's see. Harry has not yet made a save because he hasn't quite seen the creature, but he has drawn a bead on Dr. Columbo. So he is going to move up a little bit and fire 2 bursts at Dr. Columbo to try to take him out of action, because he obviously is not a good guy. All right, so he gets an exploding die. So that's 5 successes on Dr. Columbo, which brings him, which does 2 damage. And he's going to fire the second burst. And that's 2 exploding dice. So that's 3, 6. Alistair's like, you're obviously mad. And that's not enough to take him down, so he's going to use daring dice to take him down. And so Dr. Columbo falls. We're going to say he's unconscious currently. All right, so that was Harry Green. Xander's like, what is that thing? So he fires a pistol at it. Gets 6 dice. Pew! Gets an exploding die. He also gets to reroll 1 failed roll, which he does not have yet. He doesn't get any failed rolls. So 3, 6, 7 minus 2 is 5 more damage on that thing. And the bullet hits its blubbery flesh, and like this white viscous fluid flies out. That's its blood. And so Harry's gone. Xander's gone. Dr. Wickham is going to fire at the blubbery mess with his pistol. And that is 3 successes. That's enough to do 1 damage. So he is going to enhance that with 2 danger dice worth of damage added on. Whoa, that's solid. So that was a solid hit. Hit the thing in one of its brain areas, I guess. And so it tends to recoil from that blast. And then Dr. Stewart is going to take a fighting withdrawal and move her way through here. She gets to move half her movement, and then she gets to make a movement check to move away from that thing because it's very dangerous. And I'm going to roll randomly to see which direction it goes. 1, 2, 3, it's going for Dr. Wickham. 4, 5, 6, it's going to go for Xander. It's going for Dr. Wickham. So it moves up on Dr. Wickham. Now it's got 4 pseudopod attacks of 6 each. And the damage, yeah. I forgot the damage is acid damage, so I probably should have done more damage. So I'll say that Tessa takes an additional D3 points of damage from acid. She takes 3 more damage from that first attack. It finally made its way through. And now, so yeah, so I have to remember that it's has acid damage. It's a nasty creature. All right, so the first 2 pseudopod attacks, really, this one doesn't get through. This one, however, does, and it even has an exploding die. So that's 3, 4, 5. So 3 more damage plus a D3 acid damage, 2 more damage. So that's the total. Did I say 3? Oh, well, we're going to say a total of 5 damage on Dr. Wickham. Ah, he screams in pain. The next 2 pseudopods. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. So 4, 5, 6. So that's 4 damage. Dr. Wickham's going to use a daring die. Oh gosh, so that's 3 damage. He's going to do it again. All right, so no damage from that one, so he avoids the attack on that. However, this one has 2 exploding dice. So that is 3, 6, minus 2 is 4 damage, plus an additional D3 acid damage. Oh, that is enough to take down Dr. Wickham. He goes down, and this thing starts to maybe try to consume him. So he is down, knocked out. And Xander's like, no, Professor. And Harry Green's like, no. Initiative. Now, Dr. Wickham in this game, Dr. Wickham is knocked out. He's going to have to make a strength resistance roll of DL2 on his turn. He automatically goes last if you're knocked out. I guess I shouldn't have rolled initiative for him. Looks like everybody else is going before. So they're going to try to take this creature down and try to get it away from Dr. Wickham. And then Dr. Wickham, it's going to have to make a test to see if he regains consciousness or stays down. All right, so Harry Green's like, no! Comes up 2 bursts from his Thompson submachine gun into this horrific, nightmarish creature. All right, so he gets 4 successes, which is enough to injure it to 2 damage. He's going to use a daring die to add to that damage. Ooh, nice. 8 damage, and that is enough. And it comes apart, blubbers out onto the ground, and then starts to dissipate and go back to the dreamscape. Dr. Wickham! So they run over to him, and they They try to administer to his burns, put some salve on it, some first aid, and then they wrap it up and they wake him up. He's like, oh, what a horrible experience. Doctor, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I say we leave this place. Gather Dr. Columbo. Harry Green's like, I got him. I got him. So he gets Dr. Green, gives him a fireman carry. Dr. Stewart and Xander Chance get Dr. Wickham between them, and they start stumbling out of the clearing. And Xander knows his way, pretty much, since he made his way here, and they make their way through the jungle. He has to look at the map a couple more times, and they make their way to forest, down to the beach. They get on the boat. There's a sailor from their ship that they took to get here. They get on the boat, and they make their way to the ship they came in on, and they make their way out of the misty veil surrounding the lost island of dreams, and they make their way home without incident. They contact Dr. Columbo's daughter, and they bring him to her home, and they say, well, he's your father, I'm afraid, has turned. He was helping the Nazis bring just horrible. He was doing horrible things for the Nazis. So, my dear, I'm afraid we've brought him here. We've tended his wounds. But we've brought him here for you to say goodbye to, because we're going to have to turn him in for what he has done. Oh, no, Father. No, I'm so afraid of that. No, Father, no. So she gives him a hug, cries onto his chest, and they're like, I'm so sorry, my dear. We'll let the justice system sort it out. So they take him to their contacts at MI5, and they turn him in, and they explain the situation. And they, of course, don't have any evidence, but they mention the Nazis, and the MI5 knew about the Nazi incursion at the museum, so they captured some of them. And so they take him and they put him away. But from what Dr. Wickham has told the government agents, he is too dangerous to allow to see the light of day. So they imprison him secretly, without the knowledge of the general public. And for many years after, his daughter tries to contact him, come in contact with him. And the official story put out by the Home Office is that he defected to Nazi Germany, and she finally gives up hope that she'll ever see her father again. So a sad ending to a sad story, but once again, horrible evil power was kept out of the hands of evil, those who would do evil with it, thanks to the intrepid society. So that's the end of the Lost Island saga. So until next time, we'll see what's coming down the pike. And until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun sharing it with you. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Mage Hammer out.